Welcome back to Business M. You're watching Metropole Television. You can actually catch us live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Metropole TV Kenya. On Twitter, we are actually at Metropole TV Kenya. I am at Charles_Kiage. Today, we are tabling the conversation over the space for women in business in Kenya. This is never stopped. It's never going to be a conversation we're ever going to stop. But of importance, therefore, we're talking about the awards that are going to happen on the 7th, that is this Wednesday, 2019, for top women in business in Kenya. Something that recognizes that space really well. All right. And to help us go through these issues around the awards and the spaces open for women in Kenya and the plight also for women in business in Kenya is the chairperson, Women in Business in Kenya, Mary Mudhoni. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Simba.
All right, let's just go straight into it. Let's have a background of the awards that we're going to have on the 7th. All right, quickly, and get guys it coming through before we talk about women in business.
Basically, most of the time is when we see and we find women really working very hard throughout the year.
Yes.
Looking at it, SMEs in this country are way above 16 million, and most of them are women. So basically, even the economy is held together by the women who are doing in business, be it informal, be it formal, be it registered, unregistered. They are all over the country. And at the end of the year, they have many other things. During the year, they have many other things that they do. Rearing of the children, having families, alongside the businesses. You'll find that not many of them will get somebody to tell them, you're doing a good job. Patting them on the back and just saying that one word, congratulations.
Yes.
And I think this is the space that the Women in Business in Kenya organization have taken to really just tell the women, you have done well. And for those who have moved strides, there are those who have moved from MSME, they are already at SME level. There are those who are moving very quickly from SME level to corporate organizations. Really, we have to recognize this. We have to say that they are doing okay, they are doing well. Not every time there's bashing. We are seeing violence, domestic violence, left, right, and center. Women being belittled left, right, and center. It's the high time we appreciate the role that the women do in this country.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, just give me a background therefore of women in business in Kenya. Just give a short background of someone who wants to understand the organization. What are you into so far?
Women in Business in Kenya is an organization founded on 3 areas: money, markets, and mentorship.
Yes.
If you look at anybody today, someone is looking for money to pay school fees, someone is looking for money to buy clothes, someone is looking for money for basic needs. So everybody is running around working hard to get that little money. So we decided that the organization is going to speak about money issues, may it be financials, money to expand your business, money to start your business, money to even grow to another level.
Yes.
And where does this money come from? We know the banks that are giving loans at softer loans and can have a conversation.
Yes.
We know the institutions that have can give you even a loan of 100,000 in a day or 2 days. If you're in an emergency, we know who is going to give you that money. That's why we are talking about money, financing of our businesses. Number 2, we are talking about markets. Many a times is when we do not have that scope, big scope of our markets. And when I talk about markets, I'm talking about the basic trading amongst the women, buying and selling. I'm talking about inter-county trading from one county to another county. How will that woman in Meru with a lot of bananas be able to sell the bananas in Nairobi without necessarily being overcharged at the cess, taxes and all that? And how again, we are also talking about international trading. How do we tap into the new areas of market, like the African, the AGOA market,
yes.
the African free trade area.
Yes.
So how are women getting involved in all this? That's why we are talking about market. And more so, look at the AGOA market specifically. We are saying about 6,400 items have been allowed to be exported to the US through the AGOA window, but barely do we have 10 items going. We are talking of only maybe apparels, a bit of leather, you know, very few items.
Yes.
And we don't see it being shouted out that, you know, there's this window. Can we push those women doing the chondos? Yeah. Can't we put the whole country together and we have one place where you can bring those chondos and then they are exported? Those young people who are doing the wrists,
yes.
written with the Kenyan flag. I mean, that wrist alone in America, it could cost you about 5,000. But right now we are buying it at the Maasai market at 200 shillings.
Which
really
looks a big disparity, really.
It's a big disparity.
Just because of lack of this knowledge of open markets.
Lack of knowledge
yes.
on where to take on the market.
Yes.
Then we have mentorship. Even myself, I have people I look up to. Anybody here, you have people you look up to or you admire
yes.
at any one given time, and you say that, you know, I would want to be so and so,
yes.
or I would love my business to be at this level in one way or another. We all admire those big shot women in this city who have made it, and we all ask ourselves, what did they do to get where they are? And of course, with a lot of integrity.
Yes.
And that's where mentorship comes in. The capacity building, training programs, partnerships, you know, networking, just to ensure. And mentorship, by the way, it's overrated sometimes. And someone will only think that for you to be mentored, we have to sit at Java and start and have a cup of tea and start talking on giving you a lecture on how you should run your business. No, mentorship can even be an acquisition.
Yes.
It's a process, you know, and it doesn't take one day. It's a process. Attend one networking forum, meet somebody, meet another one tomorrow, because different people have different way of acquiring skills.
Yes.
In one way or another, you may have even several mentors, including peer mentors. In fact, peer mentorship works better than any other form of mentorship.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're at the same range. So we are able to discuss issues at the same level. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you one challenge that is happening today with the SMEs and MSMEs.
Yes.
You want to start a business and you want to start at Mary Muthoni's level.
Uh-huh.
You can see my business is flourishing,
yes.
and because you know my background or where I came from, you want to start it there without knowing the challenges I've gone through or the steps that I took.
Yes.
I took to be wherever I want. So I tell women and youth, slow down, start at your level.
Yes.
If you can't start a big shop, a Nakumat or a Naivas or at once, please start with a kiosk.
Start with a kiosk, isn't it?
Stop getting a big loan to start a big shop,
yes.
and then it falls in 3 years, because that is a big, big problem. Our businesses are failing at the 3rd year, the 3rd birthday. You'll find that you're meeting the young people again and they are looking for jobs because they can't sustain, you see. So again, amongst those 3 things, we are looking for impact. We are looking for sustainability. And we are also looking for visibility.
Yes.
For me to be at Metropole today, it's visibility.
Yes.
In one way or another, I can't say that 49 million people know who Mary Muthoni is, but I'll tell them, I run a business, this is my business. And the partnership that we are extending with the media is basically on that.
Yes.
If there are programs or if there are adverts that you can customized for the woman, well and good. Visibility is very key.
It also comes in therefore.
Yes.
I know a lot of people look at this issue of women in business in Kenya and the position of women in the Kenyan economy and talk about it passionately. But it's not been a success, we could say, in the Kenyan economy. What would you say we are within our economy at identifying the specific role of the Kenyan woman entrepreneur?
Everything goes back to policies.
Yes.
If any government wants something to succeed, it goes back on policy.
Yes.
But it's not just on paper. We have to talk about policies that are implementable or are implemented, because that is where the challenge comes in.
Yes.
And I'll give of a very good policy that is in Kenya today. Talk about the 30% procurement rule. I mean, fantastic idea. But why is it that the women have not been able to have an uptake of that to even a level of 20%? I mean, we are below 10% right now, the uptake for the 30% procurement rule. So where does the other, say 90% go to? Who does it go to? And what are the challenges in around these policies so that we are able to have an uptick, and a good one for that matter? So if there's goodwill in the way that the implementation of the policies is done, I am telling you, we would not be discussing about that issue. And I know there has been a bit of talk that, oh, the boy child has been left out. But look, where are we coming from? I think we need to look at that first. Have we achieved what we were aspiring to achieve before? Who makes the policies? I mean, we have people in parliament, we have members of parliament. Their role is to pass the laws and all that. So do we have enough women at the law, at that level, to ensure that they are championing the same? Or do we have women who possibly will just be there and their allegiance will not be to the women?
Yes.
Because I look at it in that way. If today we have more women who are elected in parliament, not elected, not nominated, if we have more women elected, their allegiance will be to the women who possibly will have elected them. But because of our electoral laws, which might not really be favorable to the women factor, that's why we are having these challenges.
You paint a picture of a process. Is that there is a process going on, but there are challenges that are actually within that process. Which therefore takes me to the words that you're going to have this time around. And I've seen some of the categories that you're having. One that really stands out is the business owner of the year. We also have the champion of women's rights at workplaces for the year. What really goes into identifying these categories? And would you say that where you're writing these women on would be the magic bullet if those were working at 100%?
You've used the word process.
Yes.
So even for anything to succeed, there must be those challenges. There must be a start, you know, and you're moving to the next level.
Yes.
But I'll tell you for a fact, this is a game changer, because we are looking to encourage the women to formally run their businesses.
Yes.
To ensure that they have the right documentation in place, to ensure that there's growth in their businesses. We are looking at that very woman and giving an example with the Women Owner of the Year. If you're a woman who cannot even benefit on the basic, which is Women Enterprise Fund.
Yes.
Women Enterprise Fund is another good thing. It just requires you to have a registered entity, you know. So we are pulling the women into that. Then you cannot win the Women Owner of the Year if your papers are not in place.
Yes.
again, the Woman Owner of the Year is somebody who we can emulate, that you have impacted on the society, that you have been able to create jobs in one way or another,
Yes.
that you have been able to impact even the society, because impact is about influencing the person next to you and beyond. So if that woman is that very woman who has been able to do that,
Yes.
you are registered, you have a registered company that has been running for a number of years. Yes, because again, you cannot have a startup winning the Women Owner of the Year. It would be very unfair to women who have been there. It's like saying there are no other women who have been doing anything in this country. Yes. So that's why we have the Women Owner of the Year, we have the Startup of the Year, we have a Young Entrepreneur, because startup does not mean that you're young.
Yes.
You could even start a business at 50.
Isn't it?
Yes. It depends on the number of years, maybe 1 to 3 years.
Yes.
That's a startup.
Yes.
Again, some of these nitty-gritties, we will leave them to the judges for their jurisdiction.
For just to have a look into that and come up with the outstanding personalities and businesses.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Another question that really stands therefore is that you have the outlook therefore of the businesses that women are into. You would look at the economy and say that these are the open gaps therefore for business, for women to get into businesses in the Kenyan economy. Would you say now that there are gaps? And which are these gaps that any woman therefore listening to today can say, wow, I think I need to get in there and start business therefore?
The biggest challenge I find with the women in business is lack of information. That one cuts across. Lack of information, basic information of even where do you get information from the government offices, you see. And sometimes, so to speak, and that is the gap that women in business is creating. Sometimes you'll find that women are shy. They don't feel like their contribution is so impactful.
Yes.
So they stay at home and cow, and they may not even walk to the ministry office to ask, where can I get this information?
Which is a good thing that you should actually be mentioning that, because that was supposed to be my next question on this. Now let's actually even link those two together. It doesn't start at just making their businesses work, because you realize there's also the leadership aspect which most women have been excluded from. So when you look at that together, can you therefore encompass it together and talk to me about that?
I think to some extent is it may not be really about the women, more women in leadership, and that is why we fail sometimes. I would feel it's the courage and the willingness to move a step further.
Yes.
I've just given a case of what the government has offered. I've not even gone beyond what the outside the government, and I'm saying this because that's general knowledge.
Yes.
There are those other aspects which have also been given, and you'll find that even like these nominations, they were sent way in July, but as late as October, and somebody has been seeing it maybe in the groups in the media and asks, okay, so how do I get nominated? And they closed after 3 months.
After 3 months.
After 3 months. So the willingness to also know something different, the willingness to be part of something different is very important. Capacity building, that's what we are doing. In fact, for the women in business, to narrow these gaps down, that's what we have started. We have trainings every Thursday.
Yes.
To tell on different cadres, we speak about tax, speak about law, speak about trade in general, speak about markets, speak about financing, speak about what the government is offering, speak about registration of companies, business development generally. So it's a step that we have taken as as the organization to ensure that we are reaching out. After all, if the mountain doesn't come to you, go to it. And in reaching out these women, we are also reaching out to government agencies and private sector to ensure that we are working together. In essence, that's a plus.
Yes.
Because if I do not have information, then and I have a ministry official, he is able to explain better than I would do. So that partnership is very, very important. And even on the market, That's what we have done. We have partnered with other companies, and we already have a warehouse where we can store the wares for the women, where we can put them and then they are shipped through the AGWA window.
Yes.
So really it takes the responsibility. Responsibility is very important.
Yes.
From the organization level, we are already showing it out, and it's up to them to emulate the little steps, the few steps that we have shown them. Yes.
Okay, this is the second last question, because my director is telling me, Simba, you need to get out, isn't it? Okay, so now
we can talk the whole day.
Isn't it? There's a lot to speak about these areas,
Yes,
therefore.
yes.
I just wanted to, so since you actually started your activities within the Kenyan economy, what critical observation have you made in terms of any improvement really in any area, and any bigger progress that you've made within the economy among the women in business in Kenya?
I can tell you for a fact, I have seen a rise in the registration of companies.
Yes.
Because what we keep telling them is some of these things we are training you, you may not benefit if your company is not registered.
Yes.
That is a step. And we are going down as far as the Nyumba Kumi, you know. And also we have seen a rise in savings and investment, because again, we also want to align a lot of things with the Big Four agenda to ensure that more women are buying houses, more women are improving in the health sector, that they have their NHIF cards.
Yes.
How many people do we bury every day because they didn't have NHIF cards? Or we keep fundraising because they didn't have basic NHIF cards.
Yes.
And more women are getting into the value chain, agriculture value chain, you know, agribusiness, either in packaging, either in the selling, either in marketing, because you don't have to have own tea bushes so that you can be termed as a person who is in agriculture.
Yes.
I mean, food security, you don't have to own the land for you to be part of the growth of the same. You can do value addition. And this information on value addition is very critical to the masses. Yeah. So we have seen a rise in that. And also, I've mentioned housing, I've mentioned health, I've said food security and manufacturing. Small entities, more small companies coming up, making soap, joining hands with KEBS to ensure that these entities, these women, are have the right documentation, or they are able to go through this process.
Yes.
So when I come back here, because I know I'm not going forever, maybe after the awards, I can give you the correct percentages.
Isn't it?
Of
these points that you've actually seen an increasing from when you actually started within the Kenyan economy.
Absolutely.
Pretty good. All right.
But really, I have seen that move.
Yes.
And the women are excited out here. We are just from Mombasa,
Yes.
the coast region, and we are bound to go to the Rift Valley and Central maybe before the year ends.
Yes.
The next year we are on a run. We have 5 signature events in a year.
Yes.
And we start by celebrating the International Women's Day, which is an international feat.
Yes.
Then we have in May, that is in March, then in May we move to roundtable discussions on policy and advocacy, because again, I've just told you, without policies, without a discussion on that, we can go anywhere.
Yes.
We can trade as much, but really,
but without policy,
yes,
really.
it doesn't work. So we discuss about that. We see what is working, what is not working. If we need to discuss with the ministries, then we go forward. Then we have the market day, stroke exhibition, stroke clinic.
Yes.
The market day, we call it market, that's in July. Market day, because that is when more and more women get trading with different people from different counties, different estates, different areas. Exhibition, because there are those women who are in bigger corporations, for instance, construction companies, and they may not be able to bring the items at the place. So they can only exhibit. You can only see what they have in their store, then you can take contacts and you can go to their store. Yes. Why clinic? Because many corporate companies and entities, if it is the banking institutions, the financial institutions, they are able to come and tell the women, these are the products that we have in our coffer.
Yes.
So they are able the women are able to know because again, there are also very many products within the financial institutions, and not just financial institutions, even development partners, you know,
that are actually geared to support
and government. So it's a clinic,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
You go and you
get treated, isn't it?
Get treated. Then we have
yes.
we have the CEO's convention or dinner,
yes.
whereby in September, whereby we invite everybody who is a CEO, because sometimes in organizations or companies, everything starts from the CEO's desk.
Yes.
What is it that they're supposed to churn out to the women? How can they partner with the women if it's in distribution of products,
yes.
like in the fast moving consumer goods, distribution of products, if it is something to do with the partnership with the women, would they want to give them maybe franchises and all that?
Yes.
Then finally, the Top Women in Business Awards.
Okay. That's exactly,
after all that in the year.
Then after that, we award the
yes,
women.
Yes, we award the women.
All right.
However,
yes.
in between every Thursday,
there's a training, isn't it?
A training.
Yes.
Sometimes across the country.
Interesting. Yes. All right. So now let's talk about it then. When are the awards happening?
The awards are going to be on the 7th of November.
Yes.
That is this Thursday.
Yes.
It's a Thursday. It's going to be an amazing Thursday. And right now, tickets are going for only 7,500.
Only 7,500? How do they get them?
If you want to
yes.
get a ticket, please call 0751 900 900. 0751 900 900. You will get your tickets
instantly, isn't
instantly.
It? All right, for anybody listening now, who doesn't know exactly how to cram a number, talk to Metropole Television at Metropole TV KE on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well at Metropole TV Kenya. We can actually link you to Women in Business, so you can get your ticket for this Wednesday, that is 7th.
Thursday.
This Thursday, that is the 7th of November. 2019. Go witness.
6 p.m.
Go witness exactly what that is exactly about. Good. That marks the end of our conversation this morning. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
This is the first time. Once we meet again,
yes.
deeper conversations on those issues as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Even better.
Isn't it? We take a short break now. Actually, we don't take a short break. We actually end the show. Wow.
Okay.
All right. I'll meet you at 1 p.m. and at 12 and at 11 from Metropole TV. News at 1 and for the briefs as well. All right, good morning. Richie, check us offline. Shan't you?